emotions on the go, बेफिक्री होने दो, म्यूजिक में खोने दो. दुनिया गुनगुनाई है, तो नई छाई है, Big FM playing on.
92.7 बिग एफएम पर सुनते रहिए गाने जो हिट थे हिट रहेंगे.
92.7 Big FM.
Good morning, Zurich, and good morning, India. With me is Siddharth from Big FM. Hello.
That's right. Hello, Nick. How are you?
I'm very fine, thank you.
And thank you very much for making my stay here so comfortable. I'm feeling so much like India right now. Especially after hearing that jingle, because that's the way I start my show usually. Yeah. So
what can we expect from you today? What are you going to do?
All right. Back in India, we play retro music in our station.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm going to take the Zurich listeners today, or the Switzerland listeners today, the gradual progress of the retro music from 1950s till 1980s.
Oh, wow.
And
so
how the sound has changed, how the music has changed, how the lyrics have changed, So the whole process is going to be very, very interesting, believe me.
So a musical history lesson for us.
Musical history.
Wonderful.
Not lesson, but experience. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So we're really excited about that. Great to have you here. I hope you enjoy your show and take it away.
Thank you, Nick. Thanks a lot. So, namaskar, sat sri akal, adab, khushamdeed, a very good morning. Okay, all these terms mean the same thing. I'm happy to see you. A very good morning. Because India is a multilingual country. More than 18 languages. Yeah, and more than thousands of dialects actually. So, I used to wish in this manner every day. So, thanks a lot, International Radio Festival, IRF. It means a lot that you call me here in Zurich. Also, thanks a lot radioandmusic.com for selecting me to represent India at this festival. I am Siddharth. I do the morning show back in Mumbai, India, and my station is 92.7 Big FM. It's the largest radio network in India with more than 45 stations, more than 45 million listeners base. Yeah, that's a lot. So what I am going to do today is to take you through the musical history of Indian film music, because Indian film music is one of the biggest genre of music in India. From 1950s to 1980s, how the music has changed, how the song has changed. And I was actually wondering which song to begin the show with. And I zeroed upon one song by one of my favorite composers, that is RD Burman. And this song is a medley, and the first time he experimented with medley in a popular Hindi film. It's a 10-minute long song, and believe you me, you will experience Arabic music, you will experience European music, you will experience Indian classical music, you will experience world music in this song. This is from a movie called Hum Kisi Se Kam Nahi, and in a short while, I'm going to have a brilliant guest who creates magic with sound. She's going to be with me, and she is going to experiment with one of my favorite numbers. So by that time, you listen to this one. Whew. What a beauty, actually. From one of my favorite composers ever, RD Burman. This was 1976, by the way. Hum Kisi Se Kam Nahi was the name of the movie, and this is Siddharth from 92.7 Big FM India, and thank you very much, Zurich, and a very good morning. And 87.8 North and 88.1 South, you're listening to me right now. And thank you very much once again, IRF, International Radio Festival. Thank you very much once again, radioandmusic.com. Thank you very much once again, Switzerland Tourism and Zurich Tourism, for making my stay so pleasurable and memorable. It's been my 4th day in Zurich, and Zurich is an amazing place. I don't want to go back to India for some time, yes. The lakes, the trams, the trains, the boats, the old town, the new town, everything is so beautiful. I'm still, waiting to explore many more things, especially the food, yes. So as I promised you, I will take you through a journey from 1950s till 1980s, how the Indian film music has changed over the period of time. And, in 1950s, we just became an independent country after the Britishers left India in 1947. So the European influence on Hindi film music was quite evident. even in the filmmaking, in the acting, in the performances, and especially in the music. See, all the instruments that were being used at that time, mostly accordion, violin, clarinet, and there was one filmmaker, I don't know if you have heard his name, but he was so popular in Europe at that time. Also because of the socio-political similarity, especially with the East European countries, especially with the USSR of erstwhile USSR. He's still so popular. I met a 19-year-old guy from Ukraine, and he was humming his songs from a 1951 film. That song is still like an anthem in Russia and the surrounding countries. That man was called Raj Kapoor, and the brilliant part is that Kapoor family from which he belonged has been in the Hindi film industry for 85 years now. The fourth generation is doing the wonders right now. So the next song will be that anthem, which is still so popular in East European countries. It's from a film called Avara. So listen to this song and listen to the instruments which I talked about. Accordion, violin, clarinet. Yep.
You're listening to the International Radio Festival.
Keep it locked. 92.7 बिग एफएम पर सुनते रहिए गाने जो हिट थे हिट रहेंगे.
And yes, this is Siddharth from 92.7 Big FM, India. So, hello Zurich, a very good morning. Hello Switzerland, a very good morning. And thanks again, International Radio Festival, for inviting me here. And thanks again, radioandmusic.com, for selecting me from so many RJs. It's a great honor, it's a great feeling to be here right now. So, as I told you, I will be taking you through a journey of Hindi film music. You just heard a song from a film called Chori Chori, and you could sense the Western elements in that song, because at that point of time when the films and the film music were getting evolved, there were too much Western influence happening. And I am not complaining, by the way, because that had a very good influence of Hindi film music, because that gave us the world's perspective, what was happening outside India. There was another music composer, one of my most favorites, and he belonged to a place called West Bengal in India. He was a Bengali musician, and he used to think right from his childhood that he has something to do with Mozart. He was a great fan of Mozart, and he was a very modern film music composer. Though he composed so many non-film music as well, I will play a song right now. If you know Mozart, if you don't know, just Google about him. Go on YouTube, search for him. Symphony number 40, one of his greatest pieces available right now, and how it is converted into a Hindi film music. That's amazing. That's from a film called Usne Kaha Tha. Music was composed by Salil Chaudhary, as I said. And just see the influence of Mozart in this song, beautifully adapted. So, this is Siddharth. I will be back in a few minutes from now. Just listen to this great piece. So, you could, figure out the effect of Mozart in this song. This was composed by one of my favorite composers again, Salil Chaudhary, a very modern composer in his approach. He created wonders, especially in 60s and 70s. And jazz is one thing that was really catching up in 1950s and early 60s in India. All across the world, actually, be it the US, be it Africa, be it UK, be it Europe. So, our music composers, how could they be left without the influence of jazz? So they experimented with jazz, and the best part is we got some of our very renowned instrumentalists and musicians from the world of jazz, which happened to be in the nightclubs of India, especially Mumbai and Kolkata, because those were the places where dance clubs were there. So all these musicians and instrumentalists used to play there, be it claviolin, be it saxophone, be it piano. And they were picked by film music directors to compose for their films, their songs. So, one of these songs from the film CID. Now, the name itself suggests CID is Criminal Investigation Department, and they made a film out of on them. And there was a definite part of a jazz dancer, a club singer in that film, and that's how this song was composed by O.P. Nayyar. And O.P. Nayyar in 50s and 60s, he created his own sound by coconut shell. How did that happen? We'll tell you in a bit. But before that, this jazz number by O.P. Nayyar from the film CID. Listen to it.
92.7 बिग एफएम पर सुनते रहिए गाने जो हिट थे हिट रहेंगे.
So welcome back. This is Siddharth from 92.7 Big FM India. And thank you again, once again, a big round of applause for International Radio Festival IRF. And thank you very much for inviting me here. And good morning Zurich, good morning Switzerland. And I'm talking about the evolution of Hindi film music over the period of time, and I was talking about 50s. Now, if we move to 60s, the musicians and the filmmakers were, experienced by now a little bit, and they started experimenting with sounds as well. I was talking about O.P. Nayyar, who composed the song you heard just now from a film called CID. He was inspired by jazz, of course. But now he created his own sound, and the first time he experimented with this sound in a film called Naya Daur. It was a film about, the man and machine confrontation, and he made that sound with, coconut shell, and that became his signature sound. He was known for that, and so many melodies with this sound. It's not funny. So, bringing you this song from the film Naya Daur, and just notice the horse tapping sound. It's like a horse cart is moving on the street, and that sound he created with, as I said, coconut shell. It's amazing, isn't it?
92.7 बिग एफएम पर सुनते रहिए गाने जो हिट थे हिट रहेंगे.
You're listening to the International Radio Festival.
Keep it locked.
So, as you heard this song, the horse tapping music, the sound was created by coconut shell. Yeah, that's how the musicians in Hindi film music started experimenting with sound. So, good morning, Switzerland. This is Siddharth from 92.7 Big FM India, and once again, thank you very much, IRF, for inviting me here. Thanks again, radioandmusic.com, for selecting me from India to represent India in this country, this part of the world. And I'm loving this part of the world, believe me. The food, the geography, the scenes, everything. So I'm talking about Hindi film music, the evolution of Hindi film music. And, one very unique part about Hindi film music is the playback singing. Because you see the actors on screen, they don't sing themselves. There is a playback singer who is behind the scene in the recording studio, recording for the actors, for that particular film, for that particular sequence. And playback singing is something I believe, is very unique to Hindi films. And it started right since the beginning, because earlier actors used to sing themselves, but as and when, the things started getting changed a little bit, and the studio systems coming in, and with actors who couldn't sing, for them, singers were there, and then the composers were there to compose music for that particular film. So every film in that era, 50s and 60s, used to have 7 to 8 songs in them. And one of the stalwarts of that era was Sachin Dev Burman, again belonging to the eastern part of the India. He came to Mumbai, which at that time was Bombay, and he tried his luck. He introduced folk music of India and mixed it with Western music, and that's how it created wonder. In a short while, I'm going to have an esteemed guest with me who is a magician who creates magic with sound and who is going to remix my favorite number from 70s. How is she going to do it? We'll see in a short while. And till then, from RD Burman, there's a movie called Chalti Ka Naam Gaadi, and just see the influence of folk music and Western music in this song. This is Siddharth from 92.7 Big FM, India.
92.7 बिग एफएम पर सुनते रहिए गाने जो हिट थे हिट रहेंगे.
So that was RD Burman, the composer, and that was the singer Kishore Kumar. And I don't think there can be any other example like Kishore Kumar, because he was a maverick artist in true sense. He started as an actor. He was a successful star of his time. And then he became a playback singer. He stopped acting altogether, and he was the most successful ever singer, playback singer in the history of Hindi films. This is Siddharth from 92.7 Big FM, India. I host the morning show in Mumbai, the commercial capital, the entertainment capital of India. And I'm being honored for being invited here at IRF. So thanks IRF, thanks radioandmusic.com, thanks Switzerland Tourism once again for inviting me here and giving me an opportunity to host this live show right now. So good morning Switzerland, good morning Zurich, and good morning to everyone who is listening to me right now. You know, and there is a very strange fact that while the father was very active in composing music for Hindi films, which was RD Burman, Sachin Dev Burman, his son, who was in his teens at that time, in 50s, he started composing music. And actually father and son were competing with each other. There was a healthy competition, by the way. His name was Rahul Dev Burman, RD Burman, and we call him Pancham, the fifth note of the octave, actually, because that was his favorite note. So, you know, he was called Pancham. He still is fondly remembered by each and every music lover of India. And his period started in 60s, actually. And the 60s was the time when rock and roll, pop music was really gearing up. Beatles were gearing up. And so was RD Burman, so was Pancham back in India. And he was changing the sound, changing the music, changing the pattern of Hindi film music. And he is my all-time favorite. And I'm sure when you listen to him, his songs, you will become his great fan. How he experimented with sounds, with our day-to-day objects like tables, chairs, like comb, like bottles, I will tell you in a while. And there is going to be an esteemed guest with me who is a magician who creates magic with sound, and she will, you know, remix one of my favorite numbers by RD Burman. So wait, and till then, listen to this magical piece by RD Burman.
92.7 बिग एफएम पर सुनते रहिए गाने जो हिट थे हिट रहेंगे.
So when this female singer Asha Bhosle was rehearsing for this song inside her car, her driver actually thought that, you know, she is breathless, and he was actually taking her to the hospital. And then she told him, no, I'm just experimenting with my voice. So that's how the experiments were happening in 1960s by RD Burman, the genius RD Burman, Panchamda, as we fondly call him. This is Siddharth from 92.7 Big FM India, and I am right now live from Switzerland. So good morning Switzerland, good morning Zurich, and thank you very much International Radio Festival, and thank you very much radioandmusic.com. International Radio Festival, because, you know, I wouldn't have gotten this opportunity to host a live show from this part of the world without the help of IRF, and they are doing a fantabulous thing, you know. That's a brilliant concept. So I was talking about the experiments that were happening in 1960s by RD Burman, and you know, he started making or producing sounds with day-to-day objects, be it a wooden chair or a table or glass, or even by a comb, you know. And that was his magic, sheer magic. And that's why he is considered to be a, you know, complete maverick artist ahead of his time, actually. His songs were popular in 60s and 70s, but now the fourth or the fifth generation like his songs even more. And that's the beauty of his compositions. It was timeless. So the next song, you yourself, visualize or try to figure out what kind of objects did he use for composing this song. I will be back in a while. This is Siddharth from 92.7 Big FM, India. So welcome back to IRF 92.7 Big FM. This is Siddharth live from Zurich, and with me right now is Daryl, the founder of IRF, International Radio Festival. Daryl, first of all, thanks a lot for all that you have done, for the concept, and also for making our stay so pleasurable and memorable.
Well, thank you, Siddharth. It's actually more thanks from my side to you to have come such a long way, to found time out of your busy schedule.
You have made it so easy, I would like to come here again and again.
Okay, well, you can see you're almost at home here.
All right. So, Daryl, I would like to ask you one thing. When did this appear to your mind for the first time?
It was an idea actually of my co-worker in those days, who had more radio experience than me.
All right.
And I just discovered the medium radio myself very late in life, even though I've been in media all my life.
All right.
And when I heard a very simple story that it's the most consumed medium in the world,
all right,
and it's the biggest distributor of music, and it's the only medium that you can really consume whilst doing something else.
All right.
And in all media, it's the media with a real voice. It's the voice that takes you by the hand, that you have trust in, and accompanies through the day. So we created the radio festival to celebrate those behind the microphone, that's yourself, and your program directors, and all those involved in producing the content for the whole reason why you listen to radio at the end of the day anyway.
Right, and how has been the response over the period of time?
Fantastic. We have incredible radio stars,
right,
from all four corners of the world,
right,
that bring the trust and the ear of their listeners to the IRF. And where, of course, you can meet other radio makers as well, and knowledge share, and make friends.
I met some, and I will like to meet many other. So one more thing, what has been the most amazing experience till now at IRF for you?
Well, without sounding too mundane about it all, every radio person, every radio maker, every radio presenter and station we've had standing up here, wherever we've had the festival over the last 6 years now,
all right,
has been incredible, because they've grabbed the spirit of what we're trying to do and actually just done it better than we ever imagined how it could be done.
All right. And Daryl, we were discussing about the film music, Hindi film music, and I'm sure you must be liking it, whatever I'm playing right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You mean what's about to come?
Sorry?
You mean what's about to come?
No, whatever.
Yes, I find it very interesting. I find hearing all
yeah.
these stories about the 50s and 60s. It's
Right.
great, that's what radio is so... radio is really an educator of music in one way or another, even if it may be trivial knowledge, etc.
Right.
There's a story behind everything,
Right.
and especially behind music, something so emotional as music. So it's fantastic listening and getting a bit more insight to the Indian film music world.
So the next song I'm going to play especially for you. And, I was talking about RD Burman, the very famous composer back in India. He's no more, but, he used to experiment with sound a lot. So he went to the US once and he got an instrument called flanger. He fixed it with his guitar and produced a sound. At that time people used to say that it's a noise, don't use that. But he stuck with his passion and made that sound, and this song became one of his best songs ever. So for you especially.
Thank you, Siddharth. Thank you very much.
92.7 बिग एफएम पर सुनते रहिए गाने जो हिट थे हिट रहेंगे.
So the sound that you just heard, that was a flanger. RD Burman, my most favorite music composer ever. He brought it from the US, fixed it with his guitar, and then produced this song. Faced a lot of flack that time. His competitors said that, it's a noise, don't use that. But he stuck with his decision and created this sound. And this song of his went on to become a cult song, Late 60s, early 70s, that was the period when turmoil was going on all across the world because of so many socio-political things happening in the West, in the East, and one culture that was very prevalent at that time was the hippie culture, and India became the center for all the hippies across the world. They came to India for salvation. They came to India, they went to Nepal, and they tried to find out something. I don't know, and I'm not sure whether they were able to find that thing, what they were looking for. But that definitely influenced the Hindi film music, especially RD Burman's music, my favorite RD Burman's music. Okay, before I forget, let me introduce myself to you again. This is Siddharth from 92.7 Big FM India, and I'm live from Zurich right now. So a very good morning Zurich, very good morning Switzerland, and thanks again IRF International Radio Festival and radioandmusic.com from bringing me here and giving me an opportunity to host this live show and talk what I wanted to. So I was talking about the hippie culture and the influence of hippie culture on Hindi film music and on RD Burman. So this is the song for you.
92.7 बिग एफएम पर सुनते रहिए गाने जो हिट थे हिट रहेंगे.
So that was the Flower Power song, as it used to be called back then. 1970 film Hare Rama Hare Krishna, and that became a slogan and anthem at that time for all the hippies who were accumulated in that part of the world, India and Nepal. 92.7 Big FM, that's my radio station in India, and I host the live show from 7 to 10 a.m. every day in Mumbai, the commercial capital, the entertainment capital of India. This is Siddharth, and I am at IRF International Radio Festival right now, and as promised, I have a very esteemed special guest with me, and it's a privilege to have you, Kiara.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure for me.
You are a magician, let me tell you. All right, you create magic with sound, and yesterday I had a long discussion with you on sound and music and our common interest, and she is from Italy, and I love Italy. Reasons explained to you,
yes.
Yesterday, and we share some common interest also, like sound, like films,
like films director,
right?
We
like Fellini, like Bertolucci, Antonioni, of course. So you created magic yesterday as well, and I want to listen to a piece created by you.
Yeah.
Tell me first about how you thought to create that sound, and and what you created. We will be listening to it after that. First, you explain the thought.
Okay, so I was talking about. I proposed to Swatch, our partner here at ERF, to create the soundtrack of Swatch, starting by recording the pure sound of each watch, and also broke the raw material around the factory.
Okay.
And I create this kind of music because I love create music in this way. Okay, starting from the pure sound and from the object and something like this. Is like the first sound designer in the past, no? Also for the cinema, was the same. So create effect or drum.
You also do sound design for films, right?
Yes.
Yeah, very actively. Yeah, yeah.
Because I love tell a story with my music.
Right.
So create music in this way allow me to do.
Right.
And for example, in this soundtrack that we will hear, you can hear a sound of guitar, and remind me the flanger that you talking before.
Right.
And because I held the hands of the watch to play a guitar.
You held the
hands
of the watch to play the guitar.
Yeah, and each position.
Yeah.
With these hands, create a different tone and melody. So I bring this different frequency of the sine wave to create a different tone of and different note of a guitar.
Kiara, who are you? How do you do that?
A girl that can't sleep anymore.
So I couldn't wait more to listen to that piece.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Wow.
this is called sound tripping in true sense. I was tripping on that sound, and
Thank you.
it took me to a different zone. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And you told me that 2,400 different sounds.
Yes.
You used in this
No,
speech. Right?
2,400 sounds are used together in 6 minutes of soundtrack.
All right. So let me introduce you to the Switzerland people once again.
Yes.
This is Chiara, the magician. She creates magic with sounds and music. Yeah, she is a magician in true sense. And this is Siddharth from 92.7 Big FM India, and we are at IRF right now, International Radio Festival, hosting the live show, and we were talking about sounds and sound effects, and yesterday we had a long chat about RD Burman,
Yeah.
Pancham as we call him. So, when in 60s and 70s the whole world was tripping on Beatles, this guy, RD Burman, was tripping on bottles.
Wow. Yeah.
He created, and you heard a couple of them, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and what was your experience?
Oh, so when you introduced me this musician, this amazing musician, I was completely from another planet, because he is so deep with the music, deep expression with the music, and he's a kind of pioneer, no?
Yeah.
When also when the cinema started to create a soundtrack and sound effect, starting by record each sound from everything, and the most beautiful things is when a musician bring all this knowledge to put together with the music.
Right.
So, and I heard this song that you will play, and I'm completely fell in love. So, thank you to introduce me this amazing musician.
Yeah, and as promised, you are going to
Yes.
recreate
Yes.
this sound for me and send it to me.
Yes, is a personal gift that I
yeah.
want to give to you,
Yeah.
and will be a kind of a remix, but without destroy the natural of
Elements of that, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
because it's so precious,
Yeah.
so precious.
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
that could be a damage, no,
Right.
Could destroy all. So my promise is that I want to create the remix of this song, and give to you with all my heart, because it's a pleasure for me be on air with you. So
Thank you very much, Chiara. Thank
Thank
you
you
very
to
much for
you.
joining us. And I am going to play two songs now.
Okay.
One, the sound he created with half-filled Coke bottle, and the one he created with quarter-filled Coke bottle, and you could see the difference.
Yeah.
And the first one, your favorite, my favorite,
Your favorite
Mehbooba,
too?
Mehbooba, yes, my favorite, from a film called Sholay. And right, it was a Western kind of film, So let's hear this song.
yes, please.
Yeah.
92.7 बिग एफएम पर सुनते रहिए गाने जो हिट थे हिट रहेंगे.
So the sound you heard in the beginning of this song, which I played just now, was created from a half-filled bottle of Coke. So that was the genius of RD Burman, Panchamda, our favorite Panchamda. This is Siddharth from 92.7 Big FM India, and let me introduce myself to you again. I host the breakfast show, the morning show from 7 to 10 a.m. in Mumbai. And I am at IRF right now, International Radio Festival. So a very good morning to you, Zurich. Very good morning to you, Switzerland. And thanks a lot, IRF and radioandmusic.com, for giving me this opportunity. And at the same time, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Swiss Tourism, Zurich Tourism, for making my stay at this place of the world so memorable. I just love Zurich, and it's a fascinating place because, I got to know that there is a restaurant in Zurich called Hit Thhe, which is the oldest vegetarian restaurant in the whole world. Now, that's quite fascinating. I was more fascinated by the fact that it has an Indian connection. Okay, that was quite obvious, but yeah. So, I'm talking about the evolution of music, Hindi film music, and Hindi film music is quite unique because in India, the most popular genre of music is Hindi film music, or film music actually, as we say. So we are talking about the legend RD Burman. He is no more, but his music is there, and his music is timeless actually. And the way he experimented with sound is quite amazing. I was talking about bottles. He used to create sounds from bottles a lot. I was talking about the half-filled Coke bottle. Now see the magic when he created sound from a quarter-filled Coke bottle. Just listen to this song. I will get back to you in a short while. Just figure out the sound of bottles in this song created by RD Burman. So this music was created by a quarter-filled Coke bottle by RD Burman, my favorite RD Burman in India. 92.7 Big FM, that's my radio station in India. That's the largest radio network, and this is Siddharth at IRF International Radio Festival. And I'm talking about RD Burman, the great RD Burman, the legend RD Burman. He is the one composer, I could say without any ambiguity, that he changed the sound of Hindi film music forever. If we talk about 70s especially, because 70s, in my opinion, was a decisive period across the world, because it changed the way we consume music today. And RD Burman was quite instrumental in that. He visited the whole world. He visited Latin America, he visited the US, he visited the European countries, collected different instruments, collected different sounds, and created his own signature style of music. So, continuing with RD Burman, this is the song where you can find the fusion. Indian classical music, Western classical music, Latin American music, everything in a single song. What a fabulous work he did with this song. So let's remember RD Burman, and this is Siddharth from 92.7 Big FM India at International Radio Festival. I will be back in a few minutes just after this song.
You're listening to the International Radio Festival. Keep it locked.
So this is Siddharth from 92.7 Big FM, and you have just experienced the magic of RD Burman, how he mixed Hindi classical with Latin American music, with Western classical, with rock and roll a little bit. Yeah. And they were like 50, 60 odd instruments used in this song. So this is Siddharth from 92.7 Big FM India, and I am at IRF right now, live from Zurich. So a very good morning, Zurich. It's a very sunny morning, and a very good morning, actually very relaxed morning, because it's a Saturday. So, as I promised, I covered 50s, 60s till 70s, how the music changed and took a definite shape as far as Hindi film music is concerned. Because film music in India is a separate genre, as I said. Coming to 80s were different because, after Beatles, we were observing a lot of changes in the international music arena as well. Pop music started taking a different shape. We had the likes of Michael Jackson. And Hindi film music was also not untouched. There were several music directors who were experimenting with the sound, and 80s were quite different actually. So let me take you to the 80s of Hindi film music. And this one is one of my favorites from 1980s. The way they have used electronic music, because a synthesizer had started arriving in Hindi film music scenario as well. So that was quite evident in this song from Qurbani. Feroz Khan, a filmmaker who was always influenced by Western filmmakers, so he did introduce this kind of song in his film called Qurbani. And the music was created by a music director duo called Kalyan ji, Anand ji. All right, and so let's hear this song, and I will be back in a few minutes after this song.
92.7 बिग एफएम पर सुनते रहिए गाने जो हिट थे हिट रहेंगे.
So this was Lala O Lala from the film Qurbani, and that's how the 80s sound in India were appearing to be in the beginning. 92.7 Big FM, that's my radio station in India. I am Siddharth at International Radio Festival, live from Zurich. So a very good morning Zurich and a very good morning Switzerland. This is a special day because I just remembered that today is the birth anniversary of the pop star Michael Jackson. And his influence on the world music and especially Hindi film music, Indian film music in the 80s, could not be forgotten, never be forgotten. So let's remember the great artist, the great performer, Michael Jackson today. And this is the time for me to sign off. It's been wonderful talking to you guys from this platform. And thanks again, International Radio Festival, for giving me this opportunity. Thanks again radioandmusic.com for selecting me out of so many RJs from India to perform here, to come here, to visit this beautiful place called Zurich. There's a lot to be seen. I will see as much as I can, otherwise I will visit again. I am a foodie, I am a traveler, so I will keep doing that. And thanks again to all of you, and take a big hi from India to all you Zurich people, and I will take your wishes back to India. So thanks a lot. Remember me, this is Siddharth, RJ Siddhart from 92.7 Big FM India, and thanks again all of you. And the song I'm going to play right now will be like a remembrance to Michael Jackson. There's a music director called Bappi Lahiri. He was quite influenced by Michael Jackson actually. So, and the song says that Yaad aa raha hai. That means I remember you. I am remembering you right now. So that's for Michael Jackson. Bye-bye. Take care.
92.7 बिग एफएम पर सुनते रहिए गाने जो हिट थे हिट रहेंगे.